my first thought was like, man, that looks pretty damning.
Oh yeah.
That looks pretty bad.
I know it does initially,
so.
and you got all these raging crowds that are mad about interference. But
You know what?
ironically,
Sorry, I just have to interject for a minute. Just being the kid in this, like, it was just crazy because, like, the way we were treated by your dad and, like, how he would always be bashing you, like, just the way we felt around him. We never wanted to do the phone calls or go to the visits. Like, there would be times where we'd be, like, crying right before we had to leave because we didn't want to go, but you would always make sure we went. You'd always enforce it and encourage
we looked for
it.
the good.
You did. You were always like, well,
constantly.
let's think about, like, let's talk about those good traits. And you were always promoting the good. So it's just crazy how they have it so turned around. Because I know that alienation happens, but in our case, like, my dad was the one who was trying to turn us against our mom. So it's just interesting. It kind of ruins it for the cases where it is the mom. I don't know.
Or for the fathers' rights people in general.
That's a good point you make.
For those good fathers that want to be a part of their family's life. You know, they've got people like this that you know, cause these kinds of problems, and I think they harm that movement as well.
That's interesting that you would say. Look, I'm aware of the fact that this narrative is kind of the stereotypical, oh, I'm going to accuse my ex-husband of being a bad person, and that's how I alienate the children from their father, and that's how I do it. So you're, in other words, you seem to be aware that that's the perception, or even the prejudice that people might have, you know, before this actually gets heard by the court. That's interesting you would say that. I wouldn't have expected to hear that from either one of you.
Well,
we know it because they've tried to
pin
it on
for
you
10
for
years.
It's not like
that's
this
the
is a
whole
new
goal
thing.
and then custody was given by default. Otherwise, the 3 doctors that all said these kids haven't been alienated by the mother at all would have been able to come in, but they just defaulted it and kept all testimony out, and so the real true facts never came into any of the hearing, and that's why all of it, you know, appeared to be a certain way on the outside. But I mean, in reality, like when he moved away to Kansas, he waited till this happened constantly in our case. He would do these kinds of things, but he waited for the first half of Christmas to end, which was his holiday, and took off right at the very first day of my Christmas holiday, and left just so that I wouldn't have a holiday with the kids. And this went on and on and on. Whenever he could get away with it, we dealt with that for years. So we had interference, alienation, all those things going on his side. And then, yes, it might appear just because I met up with my kids after they ran away, but they were...
And because of the fact that they ran, it's really sad, but, like, because they ran, it's like a lot of the media and people are saying, oh, well, they ran because they were alienated, as if they couldn't have run because they were scared to be with him, which is, you know...
Do you know why they're still in juvenile detention here in Utah?
We haven't really been able to figure all of that out.
Well,
I wondered if you knew.
They feel safe.
I mean, I don't need you to surmise or speculate, but I wondered if you had any...
I mean, I release information regularly every week on what happens in the hearing, but, you know, only to an extent that's appropriate. So I'll just tell you, you know, the basis of what's going on. My dad's working on the requisition process, which is, it can be up to like a 60-day process, but he's only a couple days away from finishing.
But I was wondering why, because I don't know the process. Maybe I should, but I was just wondering, as soon as they found the girls here, I was wondering why they didn't say, oh, well, is there a court order? Yes, there is. Who's the custodial parent? Dad is. Why didn't they just say, come pick up your...
Well, that's what they tried to do. We found out late after the fact when Sydney and Denny started talking that the police took them to Vantage Point and said, we've called your dad, he's on his way. And they had a complete emotional breakdown, and the staff or somebody said, well, let's put them in Slate Canyon and make sure that they, you know,
do you know on whose authority are they there? Do you know?
The state's.
The state's.
Yeah, the state made the decision.
Is it the juvenile court judge's decision or something like that?
Yeah, because we have hearings every week, and the juvenile judge has said every week
so they're there on the order of a juvenile court judge, as far as you can tell.
And they're going to school, and you know, really at first I was really shocked. Just they're in prison uniforms and everything, and it's definitely not the best place they can be. But whenever I visited them, they're very content. They feel safe. Danny even said today, she said, I'd rather stay here than go to. Well, she said it in the way. She said, how did she word it? That until she feels like she's going to go to a home she's comfortable and safe in, she wants to remain there. So I think they're just keeping them there because the requisition process is happening.
That's interesting, and I appreciate it. I know that you're staring into the sun and it's cold out here, so thank you for speaking to us at Utah Family Law TV. And we appreciate. We will follow up and continue to monitor this. Thank you very much.